Hey friends, Dr. B here. I'm a triple board certified gastroenterologist, and over the last 20 years in clinical practice, I've treated tens of thousands of patients, and I've watched food quietly do what people beg a pill to do. Today, I'm sharing 6 foods that I personally am prioritizing on my plate that actually calm inflammation. This is not hype, it's hard science. Each one has a clear mechanism and a human study that has earned its place on this list. And look out for number 5, because that's the one that changed how I think about the gut. Let me start by properly framing this. Inflammation is not actually your enemy. It's how you heal a cut. It's how you fight an infection. The trouble is a different kind. Low, silent, running in the background for years. That's the inflammation tied to heart disease, diabetes, and a lot of gut trouble. 70% of your immune system lives in the lining of your gut. Feed your gut well, and you are actually talking straight to your immune system. The things I learned in writing Plant Powered Plus, my new book on inflammation and how it's tied to the gut, they've changed how I eat. These 6 foods have emerged in my life because the science backs them up so powerfully. This is my list, and it doesn't have to be exactly yours. And you don't need all 6 tomorrow. Pick one. Start there. Number 1, pomegranate. These jewel red seeds are packed with polyphenols called alligitannins, and your gut converts them into something special because you don't actually absorb alligitannins directly. Your microbes eat them first, and then they make a compound called urolithin A. That's the anti-inflammatory molecule your body is going to put to work. And the benefit isn't really just the fruit. It's the partnership between the fruit and your gut. If you didn't have a microbiome, you wouldn't get the urolithin A, but because you feed them, they make it for you. Does it show up in people? Yeah, it does. In a double-blind trial, 55 patients with rheumatoid arthritis took pomegranate extract for 8 weeks. Their disease activity dropped. Their joint pain and morning stiffness eased. Their sedimentation rate, which is a blood marker of inflammation, it came down too. What actually moved? The disease activity and that one marker. Their CRP, which is a different marker, that one didn't budge. So I'm not trying to oversell it here, but a fruit that's easing joint disease, addressing an autoimmune health condition, I think that's worth your attention. I love these pomegranate seeds. We call them arils on a salad. I love them with yogurt. I just eat them straight up all the time, especially when they're in season. But when it's out of season, I'm all about the pomegranate juice. Number 2, walnuts. My favorite nut, I have to be honest. Walnuts give you 2 things at once. They give you plant-based omega-3s, which are healthy fats, and they give you polyphenols. Now that is 2 of the 4 workhorses in a single handful. The omega-3 in walnuts is called ALA, and walnuts do something specific with it. Your body is always making fatty acid signals, and some of them rev inflammation up, and some of them calm it down. Walnuts provide fatty acids that shift the balance towards calm. And the evidence is strong. Researchers ran a 2-year trial in healthy older adults. One group ate walnuts daily. 2 years later, their blood carried more of the calming ALA-derived signals and fewer of the pro-inflammatory ones. This didn't just lower a single inflammation number. It changed the signals that the body was making. It's shifting the balance towards the anti-inflammatory side. It's incredible. 2 years of a food can change your body chemistry in the right direction. Now, how do I love walnuts? A small handful a day, sprinkle them on an oatmeal, rocking them in a trail mix, throwing them into a smoothie, and my favorite pairing matches up with number 3. Blueberries. These deep bluish purple berries. Oh my gosh, there's so much to celebrate, and the color is where the action is. Those pigments, they're what we call anthocyanins. a type of polyphenol. They do two jobs. The anthocyanins actually calm inflammation in the bloodstream, including the inflammation that stiffens blood vessels. In a dose-response meta-analysis, they found that anthocyanins lower C-reactive protein, lower IL-6, lower TNF-alpha, three important inflammatory markers that we track. The second job isn't quite as loud, but it still is super important. Those same polyphenols, they're food for your gut microbes. And when you feed them, they start making more calming compounds from the inside. You get more short-chain fatty acids, the most anti-inflammatory compound out there. And I mentioned a pairing a moment ago, blueberries and walnuts. That could be your go-to breakfast. That could be an afternoon snack. It frankly doesn't really matter. They're so great together because you're getting the polyphenols and the plant omega-3s. That's two of the four workhorses, and we haven't even had our coffee yet. Here's how I eat them. A handful of blueberries a day as a simple snack. Frozen blueberries, I mean, honestly, my kids love them. And they're picked ripe, and they hold their anthocyanins just fine. I love blueberries inside my smoothies. If I'm having a little sweet treat, like some ice cream, I like sprinkling blueberries on top. It makes me feel better about myself. Number 4, fermented foods. And I'm going to kick this one off in style with tempeh. Tempeh comes from fermented soybeans pressed into a block. And it is rich in plant protein, like an insane amount of plant protein. And the fermentation makes it easier on the gut. But tempeh is just one of an entire family of fermented foods. Sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, kefir. So I'm shining a light on these fermented workhorses. And the science here is really cool. Researchers at Stanford University, including my friend Professor Christopher Gardner, ran a randomized trial over 17 weeks. One group added fermented foods to their diet. Their gut microbiome grew more diverse, and 17 markers of inflammation went down. Not just one, an entire panel of immune signals is all moving in the same direction. What we have here is a food that is changing the gut and changing the immune system in just a matter of weeks. So here's how I eat them. You can do a couple of tablespoons of sauerkraut or kimchi with a meal. I've kind of been on this train recently, to be honest with you. Sauerkraut at every meal, that's what I'm doing. And tempeh, oh my gosh, it absorbs flavors really well. It's awesome in a stir fry. When you're adding fermented food, just start small, let your gut adjust to what you're doing. And I can't leave this section without mentioning that when I do kefir, my favorite thing is to add in some 38 Tera DMN or daily microbiome nutrition. This is a product that I formulated myself. It's a prebiotic blend designed to support and nurture your gut microbiome. And there is some research by one of my friends, Dr. Amrita Vijay, that shows us that when you combine kefir with a prebiotic, you get better results. Number 5, this was the one I mentioned in the intro, broccoli sprouts. Broccoli, it's awesome. I would encourage you and your children to eat more broccoli. But a 5-day-old broccoli sprout is a whole nother level. Gram for gram, it can carry as much as 100 times more sulforaphane. Sulforaphane does something really special. It flips on a pathway called NRF2, your body's internal defense switch. Your cells make more of their own protective anti-inflammatory enzymes. So you're not fighting the fire, you're switching on a system that fights the fire for you. And this is the part that changed how I think. Multiple studies have shown that sulforaphane actually transforms your gut. It's known to suppress pathogens. It's known to support the beneficial gut bacteria. It increases the production of butyrate. It's actually reducing bacterial endotoxin, and it helps to seal your gut barrier. This is a gut healing compound. And when you complement it with fiber, you get more short-chain fatty acids. I wrote about this in Fiber Fueled. The more fiber that you feed those microbes, the more short-chain fatty acids they make, including butyrate. The fiber is the precursor to the short-chain fatty acids. But now I'm here telling you that you can transform your gut microbiome and you can produce even more short-chain fatty acids because you have broccoli sprouts with sulforaphane on board. And this actually holds up in people. In a clinical trial, overweight adults ate broccoli sprouts daily for 10 weeks. Their inflammatory markers dropped, including IL-6 and C-reactive protein. One major pro tip from my perspective, if you go to the expensive supermarkets and you buy sprouts, they are going to be so insanely expensive, cost prohibitive for sure. There's a simple, inexpensive solution that actually gets you fresher food in the process, and that is to grow your own on your counter. And what you're going to end up with in about 5 days is the freshest, most delicious, most anti-inflammatory broccoli sprouts at the point of harvest. So I recommend checking out the Sprouting Company, which is a great place to get started. Number 6, lentils. They're so humble. They never get hype. They're so inexpensive, especially in a food that's providing fiber and polyphenols and healthy plant proteins. I love legumes because they deliver when it comes to fiber and resistant starch. Those are the precursors to the short-chain fatty acids that we keep coming back to in this video. Butyrate is the common compound that your gut makes when it's fed well, and it cools inflammation right at the gut lining, where so much of your immune system sits. On the evidence, legumes live inside the diets that we've studied the most. A review of randomized controlled trials found that plant-forward eating patterns lower inflammatory markers with legumes and pulses right alongside. Now, it's not just a lentil study, but it's the pattern. And lentils are one of the cheapest ways to eat that pattern every day. So how do I eat them? Oh my gosh, they're so good in a soup, in a curry. They can be cooked and tossed into a salad. You could actually sprout lentils too, just like the broccoli sprouts. They're really good actually. If you start with a half of a cup, that's actually tons of fiber. And that's a good place to start so that your gut can adjust. So there's the 6: pomegranate, walnuts, blueberries, fermented foods, broccoli sprouts, and lentils. Look at what they share: fiber, polyphenols, healthy fats. We got some fermented foods in there. Notice how they stack up. Blueberries and walnuts in one bowl, lentils topped with a spoon of sauerkraut, broccoli sprouts up with a tempeh sandwich, each meal doing 2 or 3 of these at the same time. So that's not just a diet, that's a pattern. And the pattern is what your body and your gut microbes are actually responding to. They're affordable, and each one has really impressive science underneath. If you change one thing after this video, I would say grow your broccoli sprouts. In 5 days, you got one of the most anti-inflammatory foods, and very few people are actually out there getting them. I'm pretty sure you've noticed gut health info online is full of noise and fear and miracle cures, and you just don't even know what to do with it all. I'm just going to be over here pounding the drum of peer-reviewed science. And I'm going to give you something that you can actually do with all that peer-reviewed science. If that's the corner of the internet that you want to be in, I say subscribe. Punch that subscribe button, and I will see you next week.